When he died, the world did not stop. Cars still moved, people still laughed somewhere beyond the walls of her apartment, and the sun rose every morning as if nothing had happened. That was the cruelest part. Anna learned very quickly that grief is not loud. It does not scream or demand attention. It settles quietly inside the chest, like a heavy stone, making every breath slower, deeper, more painful. For the first few days, she lived on habit. She made coffee for two, then poured one cup down the sink. She reached for her phone to send him a message, then stared at the screen until it went dark. She slept on the edge of the bed, leaving his side untouched, as if he might still return. Memories became her enemy. They appeared without warning, in the smell of rain, in the sound of footsteps behind her, in the half-finished book on the shelf. Every corner of the apartment knew him. Every object whispered his name. At night, silence grew louder than any noise. She would lie awake, counting the seconds between breaths, remembering how his hand used to find hers in the dark. Now there was only emptiness, cold and endless. People told her time would heal. They said she was strong. They said he would want her to move on. None of them understood that moving on felt like betrayal. Weeks passed. Then months. Grief changed its shape but never left. It stopped crushing her chest, but it followed her everywhere, like a shadow she could not escape. Some days were almost normal. Others felt like the first day all over again. One evening, she found his jacket still hanging by the door. She pressed her face into the fabric and finally allowed herself to cry, not quietly, not politely, but fully. Tears soaked the sleeves as her body shook with everything she had been holding back. And something shifted. She realized that love does not disappear with loss. It transforms. She began to speak to him in her thoughts, while walking to work, while watching sunsets, while learning how to live in a world without his physical presence. His absence hurt, but his love remained, woven into who she was. Grief did not mean forgetting. Healing did not mean letting go. It meant learning to carry love and loss at the same time. One morning, Anna opened the window and let the light in. The air felt lighter. Not happy, but bearable. And for the first time since he left, she whispered, "I'm still here." The days after the loss felt unreal, as if time itself had slowed down out of respect for the pain left behind. Every familiar place now carried a memory, some gentle, others unbearably sharp. The silence was the hardest part. It wasn't empty, it was full of everything that would never be said again. At night, sleep came only in fragments. Memories returned without warning, a laugh, a shared look, a moment that once felt ordinary but now seemed priceless. Grief did not arrive all at once, it came in waves, sometimes calm, sometimes violent, always exhausting. Slowly, something began to change. The pain did not disappear, but it softened at the edges. There was a quiet understanding that love does not end with loss. It stays, reshaped into remembrance, into strength, into the courage to keep going. In learning to live with the absence, there was also a lesson in survival. Even after everything is taken away, the heart continues to beat, not because it forgets, but because it remembers. And in that remembrance, a new beginning quietly waits.